From all the anime you could have picked, from the hundreds of anime that exist, and all the different genres and themes, you pick this piece of shit? You son of a bitch! Okay. Jokes aside, I'd like to give a big thanks to this person for giving us a recommendation. We love seeing people telling us what they'd like us to look at, and while this one took a while to make, here it is. But before we get into the story, I'm just going to give my overall rating. I'd say A Certain Scientific Railgun is a slightly mediocre anime. It's not really my kind of anime, or at least not the first season, which is what I'm reviewing currently. It's very slow, has a lot of repeating jokes, and didn't make me laugh much, and some of the plot at the beginning is just lackluster. It picks up near the end of the season, but you'll have to get through 12 plus episodes for it to get really good. Alright, let's get into the full review. A Certain Scientific Railgun is a spin-off series of the anime called A Certain Magical Index, which came out first. In this world, there exist people who have supernatural abilities that can do anything from making things levitate to controlling electricity in many different ways. These abilities and the people who have them are ranked based on different parameters, but essentially it's marked on how strong and destructive the ability is. The rankings go from level 0, which means no ability, to level 5, which means being able to do shit like this. Railgun. Pretty cool, right? The battles with these abilities are probably my favorite part of the show, and the animation for these fights are good as well. Anyways, the people with these abilities live in a city where technology is 30 years ahead of the entire world, which means there's better computers and there's AI cleaning robots that roam the city. The story revolves around the main character Misaka and her friends in the city and the things that happen within it, meeting new people and uncovering problems hidden underneath. Now, while this sounds like an alright plot, my main issue is the pacing and some inconsistencies in this world. For example, for things to actually pick up and get interesting, I had to get past 12 episodes and just straight up boring stuff to get to the real meat of things. You could say this is because it's a spin-off series of A Certain Magical Index, which in my opinion is a better show. And even the main character is more interesting in Index because while his power isn't super destructive or impressive, it's a lot more interesting and mysterious because it's a power that shouldn't really exist in this world, and even the characters in Railgun hint towards this. Also, in Railgun there's a kind of supernatural police force called Judgment, consisting of students that have these abilities. However, I found it very weird to see students that were the only ones in this police force and no adults. There's obviously adults that exist in the city that have powers as well, but most of them, if not all, are shown as delinquents and robbers, which makes no sense. Who in their right mind had the idea to employ students with powers to hunt down criminals with no adults that could show them what to do and or protect them? These were pretty much my only gripes with the anime, so now we can move on to the rating. The characters get a 6 out of 10. The characters are varied in appearance and personality, so it's not just the same thing all the way throughout. But honestly, even in Railgun, the most intriguing character is Toma, who is the main character in A Certain Magical Index, because his power is so different to everyone else. For the action, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I really quite enjoyed some of these fight scenes with the abilities, and honestly, it's the best part of the show in my opinion. While I think they could have done a lot more, like having more characters that were almost as powerful or just as powerful as the main character, which might happen later on in the series, they did a good job on this one. In terms of sound, I usually don't take into account the actual sounds in the anime, like the sounds while someone is fighting and etc. I usually really enjoy the music in an anime a lot more, especially if it's really good. Unfortunately, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. The opening music isn't my cup of tea. While it does fit with the anime itself to a certain extent, but from what I remember there's only the opening and the ending music. Who knows, you might enjoy the music a lot more than me, so I'd recommend giving it a listen. The animation, while it's not something that's super special, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's consistent, and you can understand what is going on most of the time, which some anime tend to mess up in certain scenes. So overall the anime gets a 33 out of 50. I didn't necessarily enjoy the first season until the very end. It has a lot of filler parts that feel like they didn't need to be there, but they give the side characters some screen time to explain who they are and how they fit within the world. I'd highly recommend giving a certain magical index a watch first, as it came out first and is a lot more interesting in my opinion. Alright, now can you please recommend a better anime next time? Once again, I'd like to give a big thank you to the person who recommended this anime. I did enjoy making this video, and despite the lower rating compared to my other reviews, I hope you still enjoyed it, and also the fact that it's a different style of reviewing in terms of how I rated it. I do have to apologize for how long it took to upload this video, as I had some things come up and the schedule recently got a lot more busy, but we're back on track for now and should have some new anime reviews coming up within the next few weeks. If there's another anime you'd like us to review, please pop down in the comments below, as this review is the result of that and it gives us an opportunity to expand our anime watch list if we haven't seen it. I hadn't seen Railgun, which is why I reviewed it instead of Index, but if that's what you'd like to see next, then just pop it down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe share this video around. I have a feeling that this review isn't going to be super popular because of the rating I gave it, but who knows. Also, for the next video, Kuba will be reviewing Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So if you are thinking about watching that show, or you enjoyed it and you want to see what we think about it, then have a look. But yeah, that's about it. See you in the next review.
Yes. Yes, it is going to be a Railgun. It's going to be done by Coffee, not by me. Boo-hoo, I know, everyone loves me.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?